All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Fuel, Fire, and Freedom, the Triple F podcast. Welcome today. We got some good topics to talk about. If you're here to join us, we appreciate it. Feel free to like and subscribe and follow us along and comment and provide us with your comments. We love the opportunity to interact with anyone and everyone. Though probably the only people listening to us is our moms. So, um, but it's all good. If you're here, we're not gonna be your flashy, over dramatic car people. We're just normal guys that like to talk about cars and have good car conversations. We have wildly different opinions, believe it or not, probably because we're wildly different people. But that's either here nor there. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my two co-hosts. They're some incredible mechanics on this planet. So, Spencer Medley, Jordan Hodap, how you guys doing? You having a good day?
Dandy. Too bad.
Just dandy. So we'll get started. Last week we talked about the pony car wars, and we all decided that we thought Ford had really come out on top in terms of the pony car wars, and I would argue they're probably a little bit more dramatic, or there's just more to that competition than what the topic we're going to talk about today. But this is a really cool topic as well, and so we wanted to roll it in and kind of keep that conversation going, but this time turn it towards the trucks. So the street truck competitions, or the pony truck competitions, however you want to call it, the performance-based pickup trucks, the two-wheel drive pickup trucks that could beat sports cars on the streets. And we could talk about those and see what we think is the ultimate street truck. And so, Jordan, I'm going to start it off with you. Some honorable mentions I thought that we could talk about, and I'll just kind of roll through some of this, but obviously from Ford, you have the SVT Lightnings. You have the first generation from 93 to 95, and then the second generation, the Paul Walker SVT Lightnings with the 99 to 04s. And you can argue that nowadays with the Raptor R, that's a performance, based pickup truck, street truck. Then you have from Chevy, you have the 454 SS from the early 90s. And then you have the Chevy SS in the early 2000s. And not really anything else. They do have the RST. I guess you could get like the RST based stuff, but I don't necessarily think that's overly performance based. From GMC, obviously, you have the GMC Cyclone, which was an incredible truck, and I loved going to the drag strip and seeing Typhoons and Cyclones beat cars that are flashier than that. And then from Dodge, you obviously have the old Little Red Express from the late 70s, and you have the Dakota RT that came out in the late 90s. That was the stuff in the 5.9 in the Dakota. And then you have of course, you have the Ram SRT 10 with the old Viper 8.3 liter in it. And then not nearly as well known, but the Tacoma X Runner from Toyota is probably Toyota's only entry into this segment, but you could get the TRD supercharged 4-liter with over 300 horsepower on the 2005 to 2015 Tacoma, and that was a extended cab, 6-foot bed, 2-wheel drive pickup truck. So those are some, we could talk about some newer stuff like the Ram TRX, and we could get into the EV trucks too, but we'll kind of just start at the older trucks and see what we think is when you think of a performance street truck, what comes to your mind, Jordan?
I like the Lightning just because I'm a Ford guy, and those were kind of cool back then, especially the first gen ones, the old body style, black Lightning. But they were a lot heavier than like the Cyclone, and they're a much larger truck.
Less powerful too.
Yeah. Well, the Cyclone was one of the most powerful production vehicles, wasn't it? Or am I thinking wrong?
Yeah, it could beat a I'm gonna double check this so I'm not just spitting out lies and
Or
misinformation. But
it was the quickest.
yeah, it was
Was
the
it quickest production
fastest in the quarter mile, and it could beat a Lamborghini.
of the same time, which
Yeah,
is insane.
obviously not a Lamborghini today would beat the Cyclone, but
Yeah.
back then, you have the 80s choked up emissions filled vehicles, performance numbers are not all that crazy. So I can't talk.
Yeah. Yeah, the 454 SS was kind of cool. I mean, that was obviously the biggest motor in that time frame until you got into the SRT10 pickups.
My favorite quiff from anybody that doesn't like American vehicles is leave it to Americans to make an engine so big that the horsepower doesn't even meet the cubic inch of the displacement. That the 454 trucks are cool, but I don't for the amount of hype that they received. I'm not sure if it was really well deserved.
You
Yeah.
got to
Especially with
remember.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I cut you off there. Wait.
I was just going to make a remark that the 80s and 90s, the performance market was really tough to try and get, especially with the new EPA standards and everything that they had to battle, and all the technology with the vacuum systems and everything was just, that was a big Achilles heel for that era. But it there's always the guy in me there, the old man in me going, there's no replacement for displacement, you damn kids. as they're beating my 454 off the line with a little 4-cylinder turbocharged. you know, I'm still cooler, you damn hayseeds.
Well, I'd argue, I'd argue because it does have the 454 and there is no displacement. Or, gosh, I can't. No replacement for displacement. I can't.
No displacement for replacement.
There's no displacement for replacement. Um, put that on a T-shirt. Triple
Yeah.
F. There's no displacement for replacement. I'd argue if you really wanted to build up a truck, the 454 SS is a great option. If you tear that engine apart and you really build it up with today's performance parts, and you could make a screaming truck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's winning races. That's what's winning at least the short straight races. There's a bunch of big blocks. It's that platform is very well adventured, and you can get a lot done with the big block Chevy.
So I looked up an old car and driver article on the 91 GMC Cyclone, and they raced it against a Ferrari 348 TS. And because the Cyclone had 280 horsepower out of its 4.3 liter turbocharged V6. And let's see, what are the times on the quarter mile? I mean, if you were to race it around a track, the Ferrari would win hands down. But
Well,
Americans
not American.
Americans don't care about tracks.
Americans only turn left.
The Cyclone, it cleared the quarter mile in 14.1 seconds, and the Ferrari did it in 14.5 seconds. But the Ferrari was moving 6 miles an hour faster at 99 versus 93. So if you kept the race going, the Ferrari would have eventually won the race. But in the quarter mile, little pickup truck.
That's all that matters. Live my life quarter mile at a time.
You beat me to it. I was literally about to quote
Beat me to
it. Nothing better than family.
Speaking of left turns, we got less than a month for Daytona.
Oh, hey. It's almost time to pick the season back up again.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, there's in the street truck, performance street truck, I feel like there's at least, at the there's a Little Red Express, which is really on its own. It was the only thing at the time period. Nothing else came out to compete with it. They are iconic trucks. Pretty cool if you can find one. And then you have nothing throughout the entire 80s. And then you bring up um, and then you have the early 90s, and you have the 454 SS, you have the Cyclone, and the first generation Lightning. And nothing from Dodge, except they did come out with some Shelby Dakotas, didn't they? I just
Yeah.
remembered that.
Those were the Target tops, weren't they?
Yeah.
Or no? Or whatever, the convertible pickups. I don't think they were. Did they have a performance aspect to it, or they were just the novelty of having no
It might
roof?
have been just
don't
a
remember it.
package, but
They were 5.2,
5.2.
or they could have been.
Here's an old Car and Driver article on it.
89 only.
It's got
Model year
Shelby's.
89.
Ooh, let's see. The Shelby Dakota V8 came with 175 horsepower. Yikes. A 90.
Yep.
Ugh. 0 to
Just enough
60.
to flex a toenail.
0 to 60 in 8.7 seconds. I don't know if this counts as a performance truck.
I mean,
compared to the
pretty
V6,
quick
it
for
would
the
have had.
80s.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It beats the turnip truck. That's all we need.
it's got Carl Shelby's signature on it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can
It's even
argue
got
that
Shelby
some
on
of
the cup
Shelby
holders.
stuff was. You can almost argue that's kind of like what I call like a coach builder package.
Yeah.
But I mean, if that was, hey, it's this topic is so gray. And we're going to get heck in the comments about, well, I bought a Shelby F-150 from the dealer. Yeah, but the dealer sends that truck off and Shelby buys the truck, builds it, and then sells it to the dealer. It's not from Ford. SVT is Ford. SRT is Dodge. But this area is very gray. But
Especially when you get into the newer ones.
But yeah, you can get a Roush F-150 now, and you can get a Roush F-250.
You could get a Roush F-150 back in the 90s. Back in the 99. Yeah, that's what Tyler had. Tyler had a Roush, but I think it was an 02 or 03 if I remember right. But I think if we're going to talk like the quintessential performance pickup, yeah, we had fancy stickers and SS trim package on Chevy. The Dodges had fancy trim packages with 440s and all that other stuff. But the to me, with the second generation Lightning, bolting a freaking screw supercharger on top of it, that's where we're like, oh, okay, well, you don't need a supercharger to go get groceries, but it does help.
Oh, it helps.
That's kind of where I'm thinking. Of course, I'm gonna get hell for, well, you got a little S10 that's beating Ferraris, and it's been known as the quickest for years. I think it was held that title for what, 10 years?
A while.
Yeah,
I honestly think it might still be faster than the second generation Lightning.
you might be right. I think you're right, but it's just that we're putting on parts now that aren't necessarily needed to get you A to B to work to home, but it's all for the luxury of having a little bit more speed than the guy that got it like the guy that got it for a farm truck.
Right.
That just, to me, in my opinion, is like, that's what makes that truck cool.
I was always obsessed with the second gen Lightning. after Fast and the Furious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for someone that just worked at a parts store, I could imagine how he afforded the pretty much
I can't
the
imagine
pretty
how he
much
afforded a tuna sandwich.
the brand
Right.
yeah the new at the time, like probably a brand new F-150 Lightning. Maybe life was more affordable back then. I don't know.
Say it
What
was.
were you doing, Brian O'Connor?
That's not tuna in that sandwich.
The tuna sucks. No one likes the tuna sandwiches here. Well, I do.
Those are cool,
Let's-
though. Supercharged 5.4.
Yeah. Were they 4 valves? They're still 3
Uh,
valves. I can't remember.
I think they were.
Oh,
I
that's a
thought they
good
were
question.
the same engine out of the same
Out of the
engine out of
GT?
the
Or Lincolns?
Terminator, wasn't it?
I believe it was the same as Terminator. Yeah. Now I'm questioning my own.
I know. I am too.
How much do we actually know?
Where's reality right now?
Where's Google?
So before I got off on a tangent about the Shelby Dakota and how sweet of a pickup truck that is, what I was kind of getting at was you have the Little Red Express by itself. You have the early 90s performance with the Cyclone, the 454 SS, and you have the Lightning, first gen Lightning with the 5.8. And then you have the second generation Lightning, which sparks the next generation, I'd say, of performance trucks by, like you said, they whip a supercharger on that 5.4, and this thing is serious. It's not just a badge. It's not fancy heads. It is serious. It's a serious performance truck, and from Ford, and that spurred, competition again to where, in Chevy comes out with the Silverado SS, which is, I would say, that's more of a badge. It's like a show. It's more of a show than an actual performance truck. There's nothing real special performance wise. They look good. I think they look really good. And then Dodge comes out swinging by
SRT10.
sticking the Viper engine in the Viper engine in the pickup truck in the Ram 1500, and that is pretty sick because you could also get it as a quad cab 4-door 6-foot bed with a 6-speed manual and the Viper engine, and that's cool. I had a sailor that I worked with on this ship actually, and he had a Viper and he had a SRT10 pickup truck, and his whole thing was, I have the SRT10 pickup truck as a spare engine for when I blow the motor on my Viper.
I always thought that'd be a cool combo to have. Tow your Viper to the track with an SRT10.
100%. That would be.
That
We
would
would
be pretty neat.
probably, when we were younger, we would probably think that's corny and stupid, but now I'd be all about it. I think that'd be sweet. Someone, if you've done that and send us a picture. If you've done that, if you are one of these people that has both of them, send us a picture of you towing your Viper with your SRT10 pickup truck.
I wonder if anybody with a Viper has a flatbed trailer, if they're all enclosed.
Right.
There's an old guy that lives across from the shop, and he's part of a vintage 4-speed drag racing group, and he has a 68 or 69 Camaro with a big block in it, 4-speed and everything. And when he goes to the races, he has an open trailer and he tows it with a 3/4 ton square body, and it's just the coolest looking. Like, there's the guys that show up with toter homes and fancy freaking trailers and with lifts in them and everything, and then there's this guy still stuck in the 70s, man. Fuck. I'm like, I like that guy a lot better. That's just so cool, man. It's quite the sight seeing down the highway.
I remember when the SRT-10 came out, and it was 500 horsepower, 525 foot-pounds of torque. Those numbers were crazy. It was like, it was in its own league. It was so absurd to think about a pickup truck having that much power at that time.
There was a guy that lived in would be Chris Meads. Well, he lived in a neighborhood kind of near us, and he his son. I got to know his son through some car shows and stuff, and I was helping him out with his rat rod bug, and his dad comes up with an SRT-10. It was orange with it was crew cab, automatic, and his license plate would say Ram, and there was like 5 or 6 M's after Ram. He goes, I couldn't get Ram because everybody fucking. I guess that was the next Ram license plate that was available, was the 4 or 5
You just
M's after
keep
Ram.
sticking M's on it until
Yeah.
it works out.
Keep
But
adding them.
he took us for a ride in it. It was a pretty sweet truck. He was very proud of it. I don't blame him one bit for being proud of it. But every time I hear or think about an SRT-10, all I can think of is his license plates. Ram.
I'm trying to find. All right, so 0 to 60. This is from Motor Trend tested the 2004 Lightning SVT versus the 2004 Ram SRT-10. The Ford had 380 horsepower, 450 foot-pounds of torque. It was coming out of the 4D 100 4-speed versus the Ram came with the T56 6-speed manual. And the Ram could do 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. The Ford did 0 to 60 in 5.1. So they're both faster than the Cyclone. The quarter mile time on the Ram was 13.3 at 107 miles an hour, and the Ford was 13.6 at 102 miles an hour. So, but the Ram also for the same time cost $13,000 more than the SVT Lightning did.
13,000 more?
Yeah, the Ram in 2004, the SVT Lightning cost $34,000. The Ram cost $45,800. So
Well, that's why Brian O'Connor can afford a frickin' Lightning.
it was affordable.
That's the starting one for normal XL F-150 now.
Not even. That's like, I don't think you can get a F-150 for less than 40 grand. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Oh man, the Ram SRT-10 came with 22-inch wheels. I didn't know that. That's
Yeah, they're
wild.
pretty flashy. I think they're pretty well. They're stolen quite a bit, I think, if I remember right.
I think
I'm
so,
sure.
yeah.
It's kind of like
I
how when
also,
the Denali's came out with 22s. Man, we were at a dealership where we could not keep the wheels on these freaking cars. They were getting
No.
stolen every other week.
Every
It's,
weekend we'd come in, there'd be a Denali on blocks out back.
Yeah.
was that at
It's
Transwest in
Commerce City. Yeah.
yeah,
We
Commerce
ended
City.
up we had to send the transport wheels back after we received the vehicle, but we had like an extra set of wheels around that we'd keep on the lot cars just so that they'd stop getting stolen. It was
There
that
was
bad.
we got that batch of like 30 lease trucks back,
Mm-hmm.
and they stole like half the wheels off of those things.
It
That
was
was,
so bad.
they got them on camera back in a box van up behind the fence, cutting the fence and just rolling sets of tires through the fence.
It was crazy. It was
Good
crazy.
times.
22s. Who would have thought?
Man, I think Ford really made a missed opportunity because in 2005 they released. What was that? The first year that they released the Shelby GT 500, or was that like 06, 07?
'07, I think, was first year 500.
They missed an opportunity to uh, slap one of those engines in the next generation F-150 and smoke the doors off the SRT-10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when that body style F-150 was pretty. Those trucks used to be real nice. Now, what we have a problem out here with is all the frames rusting in half. So,
You had one.
now,
Your first car was one.
yep. Yep, my first truck was an '08 F-150. It was a nice truck, but I was bound and determined that I needed a bigger truck for things that I did not do. So, but nowadays, yeah, we we had a whole bunch of trucks come in now that are starting to taco with the frame there. And if I remember right, since you're talking about car and driver, I think that body style with the second generation Lightning was rated worse than the minivans of the day, like overall ratings. It's that was the only way that Ford could try and keep their ship afloat was let's strap a supercharger to this son of a bitch. Maybe that'll put our sales up.
Yeah.
We're selling freaking cars that are worse than our freaking Taurus. But yeah, I think a 5.4 Ranger probably would have been the move to dethrone the uh, Cyclones and the Typhoons.
But yeah,
A 5.4 Ranger would have been sweet.
you're reminding me of what with the best performance pickup truck at the time, and that's in the '90s Splash Ranger. All right, hear me out, okay?
The fucking Splash.
God.
Bring that Splash back.
Yeah.
We need a Splash Ranger. Bring it back. Haven't you
There's your
seen
t-shirt.
Gen Z? They're dressing like it's the '90s again. So the '90s are
So
back.
bring back the Splash.
Bring back the Splash. I'm gonna put that on another T-shirt. Bring back the Splash.
This is my formal protest.
I need to start making a list of all the T-shirts I need to make. No.
Start designing some t-shirts and let's see what sells.
Shit. But I
That would
think
dispose me.
either that, or if you really wanted to wake up the performance market, off topic, 5.4 Crown Vic.
Oh,
I think a Shelby powered Crown Vic would have really
Crown Vic
tipped some
GT.
scales.
well, Mercury had a performance
Yeah.
Crown Vic.
Yep. That was the Marauder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually found
Which-
one of those not too long ago around here.
There's a couple around here. There's a nice silver one. It's a really nice car. And it's pretty funny when I run into him all the time. He goes, "Yeah, I go to the bars and they just think it's a regular Crown Vic with some glass packs on it." I said, man, if they only knew.
Well, since we're talking about cars like this, that now that we're a little bit off topic, but my quizzes, like my iconic, what I think is I love the most of this era big performance or big sedan performance sedan is the '94 to '96 Impala SS.
Okay,
I
Tim
love
Allen.
those. I love those. So did all the rappers, but um, I love those cars. I don't know why. I think they're so cool.
My uncle had one.
Tim Allen made a couple of performance versions back in the day. And I don't know, they're just cool cars. I would take one of those over the Mercury Marauder, but
I drive a Marauder. Those are pretty fun.
I would love a Marauder. The fact, I mean, it's just the little things that they did with it. They put a freaking center console shift in it, make it
Yeah,
feel a little more fancy. Put some gauges down there because you're
yeah.
really gonna be like, "What's my trans temp at?
Yeah,
Where, where am I at right now?"
racing this thing.
But no,
I
I'm
know.
sorry. I
No,
didn't mean to. I didn't mean to derail our conversation here.
That's all right. It's
it's all right. My
Yeah.
my pick for like a performance sedan is the
look at that. That is
like 13 to 17 Chevy SS.
yeah.
Oh,
I
good
love those
choice.
things.
It's too bad you can't get parts for it. You got to ship it from all the way around the
Yeah,
world. But
from Holden.
for goddamn Australian cars.
This
Yeah.
this Marauder came with a 7,000 RPM tachometer. Nice.
I would say the G8 if I had to choose a different, be on a different variation. I
Yeah,
would go for a G8 for sure. But
True dual exhaust.
Marauders are
The
so
G8
cool.
GXP was a cool car. That was basically was that Australian? There was basically an Australian car.
Yeah, it's all based off of the SS. Or I don't know what Holden calls it. Commodore?
yeah, the Holden Commodore.
Is that what it is? But
0 to 60
anytime.
in 7.5 seconds for the oh wait, actually hold on. They're comparing it to the Impala SS. Okay, 7.5 seconds, 0 to 60. The Impala SS did 6.5. Quarter mile in 15.5 versus 15 for the Impala.
Hell, my freaking 1-ton 6-liter did that.
At
They're still cool
a
cars,
mile
though.
high, too. All right.
Cool car.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. So, but I'm gonna bring us back. We're going back to the performance trucks. Uh,
Reavers.
all right, you have to. What do we think is the best performance truck? From what we've discussed. I'm going to you first, Spencer. Give us the wisdom. Tell straight.
I have my favorite of the 2nd-gen Lightning, but I mean, the facts are facts. So the Cyclone is probably the granddaddy of performance trucks.
Dang, good pick.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. I like the 1st-gen Lightning, like styling wise. That's my pick.
Dang. Well, that's
God damn
definitely
it.
that's a personal. When I think of a performance-based pickup truck, I think of the 2nd-gen Lightning, and I think of the Ram SRT10. I think the Cyclone is a very honorable pick. I think it's easy to pick that because it was lightning quick. Nothing was like it at the time. It was beating Ferraris. I love seeing them at the drag strip. But what I think is the king of performance-based pickup truck is that 8.3 liter, 500 horsepower SRT10. That's just nutty. And the fact that it came with like zero traction control or electronic stability, anything like that, and watching people put them into ditches because uh, it's pretty
Need
wild.
a
Like
driver mod for that one.
the fact
Yeah,
that you could buy
driver
that
mod.
vehicle with that much power, anyone that has zero experience with that much power, is just so American to me, and I love it. So I think it's the king of the pickup trucks. But if I was to personally buy one, I think I'm going 2nd-gen Lightning. I think so. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the next topic, and this one's kind of fun. So I'm calling this a new segment, and it's things the European mind can't comprehend, and that is game day flyovers. So there was a big football game the other day in Denver, and Jordan, I know you said that you might get a chance to see the F-35s flying over, but did they happen to fly over your house?
No, they didn't.
Dang, took off to the north.
Got quite a few good pictures from some other people though. They
That's
were pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah,
The
I'm fortunate enough to be I'm like dead center between Buckley and Peterson. So if anything's kind of cruising around through there, or um, we're kind of in the flight path for both of them. So anytime something takes off southbound from Buckley, we usually get a pretty good flyby at the house here.
That's cool. What
Hello.
Hello.
Hurrah.
Why do you think that, like, to me, a flyover is iconic and it just makes you feel, before a big sporting event, and whether that be, uh, I've seen like the old Apaches flying around the race car track, that in the 90s, that is incredible. I think that's one of the best flyovers there is. But just having jets just rip overhead, what an incredible experience before a kickoff or any kind of sporting event. I think it's iconic. I love it, and I don't know why the Europeans can't get behind something like that.
Well, they don't have the same defense budget.
Yeah, probably not.
They don't. There's something American about watching your tax dollars fly over. I pay too much taxes, but that looks so cool.
That's fucking sweet.
But that's why we're number one.
Maybe it's a nice recognition to see. Oh, like our money actually goes to something.
Shit, you spend so much money, you might as well fucking use it. That's what I say. You go and buy an off-road package. Why the hell can't I go over the fucking curb? But I love flyovers. So just yeah, I'm right there with you. It puts something in your chest that you're just like, man.
Yeah.
I live in a I'm pretty lucky to live in this country where I can say whatever the hell I want. I can do almost anything I want, but I get taxed on everything else.
Taxed on everything I want.
I get taxed twice on everything, but no, there is it's very braggadocious. It's very ostentatious. It's very something that it, it I always I do preach on about being humble and just knowing where to stand. But I think that's a lot of what the Europeans are kind of at. Like, well, we already did that. We've already conquered nations, and we might have lost a lot of shit, like all of our colonies and stuff, but we were there and did that. I think it's kind of a nose up. Like, why would you do that? You don't have to do that.
Because I can.
What
We get a pretty good almost like mini air show in Colorado on Memorial Day every year. The Air National Guard runs I think it's usually 4 F-16s that they rip all across the state, and they do flyovers of all the uh, military, like Fort Logan and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. That's pretty sweet.
My favorite flyover is flying over other leaders.
like when recently when Trump had the B-2 bomber and the F-35s fly over Putin when he showed up in Alaska.
There's just some things that a middle finger can't translate as like a B-2 bomber over your head that your own security clientele did not know was coming.
Yeah.
So
that's
that kind of brings up.
Surprise.
I was gonna ask you guys, what do you guys think is the best aircraft to do a flyover? What would you want to see when you're in a stadium or you're in a at a race? What is it that if that flew over, you're like, oh my gosh, that's incredible.
I mean, in a perfect world, if they were still running them, the SR-71 would be pretty
Yeah.
badass.
wouldn't see it.
Yeah. I don't know that they could go slow enough.
I don't. Yeah, because you don't want to go, but you don't want to go above the sound barrier. I was gonna Google whether an SR-71 ever did a flyover, but
I
I don't
like
know.
the Flying Fortresses.
Yeah.
I like the old World War II era, clunkers coming in there so fucking loud. Like, man, if I was a German, that would scare the shit out of me. Now it just scares the shit out of me because I'm like, man, that's an old plane. I hope it doesn't break down. That's where I'm at.
So minimum speed to maintain flight was about 400 miles an hour.
I don't think you can get that close to the ground. How with that one?
You have to be a little faster up here too.
Google is telling me that the SR-71 actually did a couple of flyovers. I'm trying to get behind. Apparently they flew. No, that's not the same one. But in Super Bowl, in the Super Bowl in 2021, the flyover was a B1, a B2, and a B-52. They had the bomber trifecta flew over the Super Bowl. That would be pretty sick.
That'd be badass.
I don't have the money to go to a game like that, but
no, I'll sit outside in the parking lot. Actually, I probably don't even have the money for the parking pass.
You probably can't even get that close with Super Bowl City. You'd have to be the next town over.
See, you can kind of see them here. Fireworks.
Damn.
Yeah.
B1s are cool.
Yeah, B1s are B1s just were used to bomb Venezuela.
There's just something about a flyover that just makes you think. You're like the guy at the end of the bar going, I could take that motherfucker. That's the reason why. That thing right there. I can take whatever the fuck I want.
So I'll flip my camera around here, but like I got to fly in that B-17.
Yeah.
I can see it here. Oh, hi, Ro.
Yeah.
So I got to fly in that 2 weeks before it crashed in Texas, and all the guys that we met on that flight passed away. It was pretty crazy to see. I got to sit in the nose right there behind that glass.
That's cool.
And it felt like I was doing a flyover. Like, I mean, we were so low to the ground.
Your eyes going, oh.
Takeoff and landing, and I'm at the nose. I'm like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah, because those aren't pressurized, so
there's
you can't go too high. That's a cool picture.
Yeah, so Ashley got me that shortly after the incident.
Yeah, rest in peace to those guys. That was a terrible incident that occurred, and I remember watching it when it happened, and I mean, the two planes collided, and that bomber just like broke in half.
Yep.
In midair, instantaneously. Just wild. But I would argue that those guys, probably wouldn't want to go any other way.
They're doing what they love.
No, they're some cool guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, I'm gonna make it a little more lighthearted, and I'm gonna say that this would be a pretty cool flyover if you were to see it.
Yeah.
Well, Air Force One. I know. So this happened this last NFL season. Trump went to a Commanders Lions game, and they had Air Force One fly over, and it was low, real low, to where I think the stadium was saying they didn't realize that the plane was going to be that low. Because that's one of the biggest planes in the world, and for it to fly that low over a stadium,
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, that's
Please
why I
don't
like
crash. I'd be at the game.
NASCAR.
Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash.
That's why I like, NASCAR is pretty good about flyovers and
Yeah, definitely.
patriotic stuff like that. You see the iconic choppers doing the laps at Daytona, but right behind Daytona is the actual airport, and there's quite a few years where Air Force One is flying in.
Yeah,
right at the start of the race, bringing the beast in too. They've done that too. That's been pretty cool. And then in Vegas, is it Nellis is right behind the track. So the entire time, if you're sitting in the stands, you're watching jets take off, get C-130s coming in, and they look really low, obviously because they're landing right behind the track. But that's pretty fun.
So I got two quick Navy
NASCAR's
stories.
way more American than NFL.
I just wish you could fire off the warthog guns in city limits. I want to hear that thing go off in person.
Brr.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they had A-10s fly over for a Bronco game not too long ago.
They're trying to finally retire the airframe, but I hope they don't.
Yeah.
What was your stories?
So I got two quick Navy stories. One was both when I was on my destroyer. So this is my 2017 deployment. And if you can hear my daughter, I think she's calling for me. She wants to hang out with me, but in the other room. So I was 2017 deployment. Well, this was I was out there in the South China Sea, sitting off the coast of the Philippines, and we got assigned with doing air defense for Trump's first visit to Asia, his first international trip as president. So Trump is freshly president. His first term, Trump 1.0, and he was flying all over the place in Asia. And, we're this Aegis class destroyer, and we have pretty incredible surface to air missile defense, and we can defend. And we were assigned with providing airspace defense for Air Force One. And so we tracked Air Force One as they were coming in. And I remember being on the deck of the ship watching Air Force One fly over us to come into the Philippines, because he was coming to visit the Philippines. And you'd think, oh, Air Force One is unescorted because it didn't have any jets with it. But we were there. And we were there to provide any kind of needed missile defense if anyone was trying to be stupid and attack that plane. So that was a pretty cool experience. And then my other one was on our way home from that deployment. We were doing a little bit of an air show. We did what's called a Tiger Cruise. And so the Navy will fly out a whole bunch of people's family, and they can come on board the ship, and they get to experience a little bit of what it's like to be in the Navy out there. And so we put on a little bit of air show for all these people, which you have a whole carrier air wing, which there's a ton of aircraft, tons of F-18s, some really cool, some helos and all that stuff. And our ship, we got put in what the Navy is called a Form 1. And so it's basically all the ships in a line, and we were sitting right in front of the aircraft carrier, right in front of the Nimitz. And normally, you're not ever allowed to get this close to the carrier. You're never allowed to be this close in front of the carrier. But because it was we were doing an air show, it was a special event, so we were really close. It was like they were right behind us, and they were launching jets right over our ship. It was crazy to watch them launch F-18s just right over the top of us. And then my last thing I'll say is when at night, when you're doing flight operations at night, usually one ship will kind of follow the aircraft carrier at a certain distance to provide a reference for the pilots to so like distance reference for the pilots so that they know kind of how far they are. And we did that a couple of times. It's called playing guard, and we did that a couple of times where you chase the carrier around, and the jets are just coming in right over top of you. So they're just flying in right over the top of the mast and landing right in front of you on the carrier, and that's pretty wild too.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
So those are that's another thing that the European mind can't comprehend because they don't have that. So, all right. So flyovers are cool. I think we all agree. I do love the idea, Spencer, of an old World War II bomber flying over. That's pretty cool. But if the SR-71 did a flyover, that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right. Our next segment is you've got $10,000 to come up with so this is a theoretical thing. I'm giving you a budget of $10,000. You got to come up with a reliable daily driver that is not a Toyota Camry. And I'm giving you two scenarios. One where you live in an area where it's just sunny, sunshine, maybe Florida, the South, or Arizona, or something like that. You don't care about needing a vehicle for the weather. And then the other scenario where maybe you live up north, you need something for the winter to get you through. So, Jordan, what would you bring to the table for 10 grand?
For 10 grand, I think my warm weather pick, I was doing some looking. I found a 2012 Mustang 5-liter manual trans for right at 10 grand.
That's pretty good.
I think that would be, I mean, they're fairly reliable. They don't have a ton of issues with those. It'd be a sweet daily for down in Arizona.
Definitely. Oh my gosh.
As long as it's got AC. Then
do they still make cars without AC? I feel like
I
they
don't
all.
know. I don't think so.
I don't think that's a standard anymore.
Yeah.
I
haven't seen a
one
car
of those.
without AC for 20 years.
I don't think that's even an option. It's just come standard.
Yeah.
Unless, well, GT 350R, did that come with AC? Didn't come with a radio.
It's a good question.
The radio is
the
optional.
Shelby GT350R came with AC because a lot of the guys complain about their AC failing because the engine revs so high that
Yep.
the AC
We
fails.
did a lot of those.
Okay.
Yeah. I did
So
a lot of.
When
I don't know if they were ours, but
when I'm driving mine, I intentionally turn the AC off if I'm going to rev it.
yeah, we'd get that a lot. Guys
Don't
would go
bring
to the
that clutch
track.
out.
They'd go to the track and run some laps with the AC on, and that clutch would engage when they're at 8,000 RPM.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuke that AC compressor.
Yeah. Yeah, roll your windows down. Don't run the AC if you're gonna rev it. That's funny. That is something I'm aware of.
And then my pick for like even just living here, or Idaho, something like that, where you get a decent amount of snow every once in a while. I'd pick a 4th gen 4Runner. Get 4.7 V8. They're pretty cheap and easy to fix. They don't have a ton of issues like that. That's my pick. Yeah, there's one out here for, again, right on the dot, 10 grand. I'd rock it.
What do you got, Spencer? What well, actually, before I jump to Spencer, I will say bravo on the 4th gen 4Runner. That is a really solid pick because as far as putting minimal effort into a car to keep it to go for a very long time, that's a pretty solid pick.
I want to hear your choices, Brandon.
You want to hear mine?
Yeah.
I am gonna pick. Mine's a little more controversial. I'm going. My first one is a bit of a stretch, I think. But my warm weather car would be a T-top Nissan 300Z, twin turbo. And I
Well,
think it's a bit of a stretch because in order to get one for 10 grand, I think it's gonna have some miles on it. Or it's gonna need some work. It's not gonna be a pristine car. They are older, but I think this car has a lot of character to it. And my thing when I was making these picks is because yeah, you could pick a 4th-gen 4Runner, and it'll get you there to and from work every day, but they're kind of boring, I think. Uh, kind of boring to drive. So I was trying to find something that would give you a little bit of excitement in it, and the a T-top twin turbo Nissan 300Z I think would be a pretty sweet car, and I just was trying to do something different. Now for uh my foul weather car, you need something for the weather. I was kind of thinking towards Range Rover, but you can't say reliable and Range Rover in the same sentence. So I decided to not go with that, and I decided to move towards Porsche Cayenne, preferably a GTS. If you could get a GTS, first generation or second generation, maybe. I do think you can get one. They had the 4.8 liter V8, especially the first generation did. So you got a naturally aspirated, fun V8. It's a fun car. The first generation Cayennes came with 4-wheel drive and a low range transfer case. The second generation, it moves to all-wheel drive, but the first generation, it is full-time 4 with a low-range T case, so they can get you. They are way more, uh, way better off road than what most people think. I know it's more of a performance-based car, but you've got a really nice quality interior, which the older I get, the more I care about for some reason. Um, and they're plenty spacious. So if you got a couple kids, you can throw some car seats in them. You can get one of these. So I'm looking at one in Cars and Bids that sold. It was a 2010 Cayenne GTS. It sold for $9,500. Only had 100,000 miles on it. 4.8 liter V8, 405 horsepower. That's a pretty fun daily driver, I think, if you needed something that could also handle the snow and the wet conditions.
they came in a manual too.
Very rare, but yes. Yeah. I think you'll have a hard time finding a manual for 10 grand.
There's one on Cars and Bids that sold for $9,900, but
What?
it's the V6
Oh, okay.
6 manual. But
Yeah.
that would be kind of cool too.
That would be cool. So I think these cars, the styling, I like the second generation Cayenne the best, but I love that the first generation you get a low range transfer case, and you can make this a pretty sweet off-roader if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and
cool.
for some, Cayennes, they depreciate like crazy. They're, as far as Porsches go, but I think they're actually built pretty solid. I think they're a pretty solid car. I would trust one to reliably go to 200,000 miles pretty easily. Now, you have to remember that it is a Porsche, so you're going to be spending more to maintain it a little bit than you are a 4th Gen 4Runner. So
Yep.
keep that in mind, folks. It may be a lower cost initially, but doing maintenance on these things.
That's why they get rid of them.
There's a reason why a luxury car is so cheap. I had a guy come up to me and say that he was going to try and he was looking at a Maserati sports car.
God, no.
Out in Arizona. And
no.
he was going to buy it and bring it here and have me fix it. And I said, I would not touch that car. He goes, but you're my guy. I want you to fix all my stuff. I said, don't buy a Maserati then. Because I ain't touching no freaking Italian stallions or nothing. So
Italian stallions.
Yeah. All right. Spence, what do you got? What magic are you bringing to the table?
I'm gonna pull out something you boys never expect. Ready? I'm gonna buy a pickup. If that no, my choice is here with the debate of highway driving. So if I have to go 80 miles an hour, um, obviously I'd like to have a more of a vintage pickup, but square bodies are too expensive, and OBS Fords are too expensive. Diesels are too expensive. You can pick up a 460 fairly decent, but um, I would say that if I wasn't on the highway, I'm going to pick up a bullnose and a bullnose 6.9 in either situation. But inevitably, if I'm expected to do everything that I'm doing now, I'll probably pick up a 99 to 0373 Super Duty.
Crew cab long pad.
Good cab. Oh, it's good. It's of course it's not fast. It's not as enjoyable as a fast car or anything like that. But to be honest with you guys, there's not a whole lot of cars that I like getting in and out of. I daily drove a Crown Vic for about 2-3 years, and I just started having aches and pains and backs and knees and stuff that I never had before. But I don't usually have that when I get into pickup trucks. So I think that's and to pick up a half ton around 10K, you're looking at kind of the 5.4 F-150s, and quite frankly, I'm not too interested in those.
Yeah.
So I would more consider. I'm bland. It was not the grand finale that anybody was expecting in this segment.
The curse of being a mountain of a man.
I'm just out of shape. Round is a shape, but it's still out of shape. And that's that's my melancholy response to challenge. I would love to pick up, a quick car and daily drive it. I just you hit your head so many times on the roof getting in and out. You think a motherfucker would learn. I'm dumb. Okay. I gotta the smart part of me is just avoid that altogether, and let's just go pick up something that you have to step into instead of fall into. But if I had to pick a car for warm weather, I'd probably end up trying to find a late 70s Firebird or Trans Am with a T-top, just to avoid the fact of me hitting my damn head.
So
But
you can look out the roof.
yeah, you got a small. A lot of them came with like 305s, but I picked now the Oldsmobile and Pontiac small blocks are different from Chevys, where they're just enough different that it's a pain in the ass to get some internal parts, but they're pretty reliable as far as that goes. So I'd probably go find me another Skybird.
I still remember
I
the
could see
time
that.
that person's face when you and I were driving the two Skybirds, and we made that turn and went by. I think it was like a Subaru, and their face was just.
The worst part about it is, now folks, listen to this. If you don't know what a Skybird is, it's a special edition that Pontiac put out in their Firebird Esprits, where it was they first started coming out. The prototype came out in '76, where it's a very feminine based package, where the you didn't have the screaming Firehawk like you had on the Trans Ams. You had this really dainty little bird on the side. It was this baby blue outside, baby blue inside, baby blue wheels. It was called the Skybird. They wanted to call it Bluebird, but because of the bus company, there was a copyright and a trademark infringement with that. But they made two more models after that in '79 and '81 with the Yellow Bird and the Red Bird. But the whole intent was to try and get women into collecting cars or into buying sports cars. And the reason why I had one to begin with was my mother This was my mother's first car, and my father went and found one and bought it for her. But I thought it was the coolest thing, man. It was almost Smokey and the Bandit, but it was gay. And I can't tell you how many times I got frickin' waved at by some very feminine men, which is that if that's your prerogative, that's you. It's just kind of found it funny and ironic that I got more guys that would pull up to a stoplight expecting a hot blonde, but instead you got this weird Amish bearded kid driving a frickin'
Amish bearded kid.
frickin'
This one.
Yeah.
Did you
that
have
guy.
yours was a T-top, right?
Both of them? So we had two at the same time, and they were both
Yeah.
T-top cars. Which
This is
if anybody, this is all kind of stupid knowledge on my part, but these cars never came from the factory as T-tops. There's no paperwork, at least, that proves that these cars, these Esprits specifically, there's T-top Firebirds and Trans Ams, but this model specifically, there's nothing that from the factory that says that these came with T-tops, and there's 3 companies that installed the T-tops, but they said if anything that came from the factory with T-tops, it would be I think it was American T-top or a Fisher brand T-top. But we had 2 that were both had different T-top brands on them, but they all worked the same. They all leaked, but it was really nice to get in and out of. And that day that the day that Brandon's talking about how, well, there'd be days that I'd say, hey, let's go and exercise the birds. And Brandon hopped in one behind me, and we went out for a cruise, and we were going through an intersection, and it was me and Brandon. I can't remember who else was with us. I think there was a couple other people riding with us, but it was probably all guys driving these baby blue Firebirds through an intersection. And this dude, I remember that moment specifically. It was a dude in a blue Subaru, and every other seat had a blonde girl in it, and all the blonde girls are going, "Wow, look at that!" And then we're a bunch of dudes in the freaking baby blue Firebirds, like, yeah, we're fucking awesome, man. Look at that. They like dark colors. But the big engine for those cars was Oldsmobile 350, and they're reliable as hell.
Yeah, they were good cars.
They
You
were
know,
good
you
cars.
brought up a great point with these. If you are a gay man and you're really into cars, this is a great car for you. This is
You get a lot of guys with that car, I tell you.
this is a great car for you. It's unique, it's classic, it's a cool car, and yeah. So if you are a gay man and you want to show off, this is a great car for you. I think it's great.
For a 16-year-old, it was something similar to a Trans Am, but man, it had a lot going against it. But that inevitably is what got me into the car culture, wanting to work on cars, wanting to screw with cars and stuff like that. That car was the one to really tip the scales for me. So even as feminine as it is, I hate to say it, but that was the car to get me into it.
That's cool. Well, I think that wraps up. So, good picks from everyone. Spencer, yours make a lot of sense. And
What you
very
trying to say?
practical. Yeah. But let's move on to the Jordan's steals, deals, and disasters. Time to go shopping.
Let's go shopping, boys.
This
Whoa.
is one that Brandon sent me, so I figured we'd use this guy. It's a 2000 Land Rover Defender 110.
That thing looks like a short bus.
It is school bus yellow.
Maybe that's fitting as to why I want it then.
Probably.
Gotta wear a helmet to drive this
He's
one.
got it up for 69,500.
If this was 50 grand, I'd be selling the Shelby right now to buy it.
Really?
I love this so much. I can't even tell you. for one, it's a left-hand drive Defender. I don't want the right-hand stuff. It is a Camel Trophy tribute truck. And so, folks, if you don't know what the Camel Trophy is, you need to go on YouTube and you need to go look up the Camel Trophy videos. It was a international off-roading competition that happened between 1980 and I believe 2000. And a lot of these, so countries would send 1 or 2 teams to go compete in it. And they were, for most of the years, the vehicles were sponsored and supplied by Land Rover. And so you had the Land Rover Defenders, Defender 90s, Defender 110s, and Discoveries, and then I think some Range Rovers maybe at the end, but like some Range Rover Classics, and then I think maybe LR3s. It transformed into something else after Camel for a while, and it became something else, a little bit more vanilla version of it. But the Camel Trophy, these guys would go into the heart of the Amazon jungle or Mongolia or even Siberia one year, and they would just in grueling conditions try and get cross country using these Land Rovers. And I mean, I've seen videos of them basically submerging these things to get them through a mud hole, or they would have to build bridges. Yeah, you can hear my daughter wants to say hi to me.
Amara wants that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The daughter approves. She's so
Yeah,
with
she
Shelby.
likes it. She says, "Go buy this today, Dad." That's what she's saying. No, so the folks have kids. Kids are amazing. Anyways, I lost track. Yeah, so these guys would have to cross rivers. They'd build rafts to put these things on. They'd build the most makeshift bridges out of whatever they had. I mean, and it's just incredible footage. So go watch some vintage footage of the Camel Trophy competition, and I love this iconic Defender 110 style. It just looks so amazing. Maybe it's because it looks like a box, and I like boxes. So it's about as
I will
boxy of a
say-
vehicle as you can get. And
I will
this
say
one
this
comes
one's
with
probably the
the
better looking one.
yeah. This is
Yeah,
better than
I
any
like that
new
it's left-hand
Defender.
drive.
Me too. It's
So-
super rare.
Imported from Belgium.
Yeah, most of Europe is left-hand drive. It's really only Britain and its colonies and Japan that are right-hand drive. But just beautiful, well done. I think it's done so tastefully. You can fit 9 people in this vehicle with how many seats it has.
I think
And,
9 would be a stretch to fit in there.
well, if you have some kids, you could fit them back there. That gas can on the top is probably doing wonders for your fuel mileage.
Yeah.
And these had this one has the diesel, right?
This one's a yep.
TD5.
TD5.
An incredible
I like
diesel
the-
engine.
The old school fucking J
That's how
hitch.
they do it, and that's a European hitch for sure.
Yep.
Man.
That's actually good looking. I don't really venture towards these at all, so I have no knowledge on them. But the ones that I do look at, I kind of like, whatever. This one actually looks really good. I think the looks of this one is really, really good.
I'm so close to just
Let's go buy it.
I'll take a HELOC out on the house, and I'm coming back with a Land Rover.
Honey, look at what we bought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this
Oh.
thing's pretty sweet. They did a pretty
Man.
good job restoring this.
Yeah.
Or restoring whatever they did. Like,
Yeah. Oh, and that's close to you. Maybe you might have to go check it out for me, Jordan.
all right. Send me some cash. That thing's pretty sweet.
Let's pick.
I don't know if it's worth this much that he's got it listed for.
Yeah.
They
I would struggle to spend that much on this thing.
already cost a premium because you could only get the Defender in America for a handful of years. It was a very short window in the 90s, early 2000s, I think. that you could get the Defender in America, and even less so the Defender 110. So most Defenders that you see in America are imported. Now this had to be recently imported because it was built it's a 2000, so you can only import things into the States without meeting the U.S. requirements if they're 25 years or older. So it had to have been imported within the last year and a half. But man,
Hmm.
So because of that, they that drives the price up. A comparable Land Cruiser is probably a lot less money.
So
But
this
Probably.
is a model year 2000 though.
yeah.
It is.
Huh. You know, that body styling, it almost seems like what's the Russian car that it's like still brand new but looks like it was built in the 60s.
Oh,
Like it looks like a very communist design. Yes, that's right. Like, oh, we built it like this for the last 40 years. We can still run with it.
so Land Rover, you had the Land Rover Defender had a continuous run of 67 years. They finally stopped production of this vehicle in 2016.
No way.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is I mean, it looks like an old military vehicle.
Yeah, um let's see. Actually, I might be lying to you because you had previous to this was this Land Rover series, which okay. All right. So what I just read is considering the series to the Defender, which the Land Rover series, when you think of a Land Rover series, think of the iconic post World War II version of the Land Rover, like the original Land Rover they built as their version of the Jeep. And so they built this. So there was the series. Let's see. This is the series. Jesus. We're going to go back. We're going into Land Rover history right here. All right. So you have the
Land
Land
Rover
Rover
history.
series, the original Land Rover built from 1948 to 1958. Then you have the Land Rover series that was from Series 2, which is 1958 to 1961. Then you have the Series 2 Alpha, which is a lot more popular, and this is 1961 to 1971. And then you have the Series 3, 1971 to 1985, followed by the Land Rover Defender 90s and Defender 110, and they started production of those in 1983 until 2016. So if this looks like an 80s vehicle, it's because it is. And they finally stopped producing this version in 2016.
Crazy.
Over 2 million Land Rover series and Defenders have been built since 1948.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they are. And so because there's so many of them in the world, they should not cost that much, but you couldn't get them in the States. And so
They're just not
if I,
here.
if I ever got stationed overseas, my plan was to buy one of these and then drive it and get it imported back to the States. That's the way to do it. But yeah, so I would not pay 70,000 for this, but if it was 40,
So there's a life hack, folks. You want to import something, enlist.
join the military, get stationed overseas.
I just wanted a mini truck.
What are
Cool.
what are those newer vehicles that use the BMW 3-liter that are styled very similarly to these? What's the name of them?
Oh, the Grenadier.
Grenadier. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Land Rover stopped making these, and so this company was like, well, people still want these, so we'll just make one. And that's the new Grenadier, but I would still take the original Land Rover over the
I
Grenadier, I
know.
think.
Well, they're about the same price. This one versus a Grenadier.
Yeah, and the Grenadier is probably a lot nicer on the road
Probably.
than this Land Rover would be.
I don't know that I'd pay $69,000 for that thing though.
No, I would not, but man, I freaking want one. I want it so bad. Oh,
I could go buy 7 international trucks.
I know, you gotta sit there and if I ever get fuck you money, you'll know because I'll have a bunch of Land Rovers.
That's when I buy the SRT 10 and a Viper on a trailer.
There you go, yeah.
There you go. So the way you can afford to fix a Land Rover is winning the
Yeah.
lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun. Thanks for humoring me with the marketplace pick, and I got to relive the Camel Trophy. It would be a dream if they would bring back a competition like that, because I would have the three of us would be applying for it, and we would be competing, and it would be, here, you grab a couple hours of sleep, I'll drive, and then next thing you know, you're waking up because we drove over a log and got high centered, and we have to winch off of it. And man, what a cool competition that would be to do something like that today. I think it got replaced by something else, and I want to say, yeah, they got.
This is back in the day when they could name events after cigarettes.
Yeah. Shoot, what replaced Camel Trophy? I'm just gonna look it up, because you'll see, Land Rover continued to sponsor whatever replaced it, and then you could, you could buy one of these Land Rovers, in the early 2000s they were bright orange and what can I?
There's Land Rover G4 Challenge is what took over.
Is that what it is?
Yep. But only for a couple of years.
Yeah, it was very okay. Yes, the Land Rover G4 Challenge, and it was more vanilla than the Camel Trophy, but it's still cool. Still cool. I would still do it. I'd still do it. It would be fun.
They
It'd
did
be really
it in
fun
the US.
They should do. I mean, like Ford should do something like this where they sponsor it and everyone gets a Bronco, and you run around the world in a Bronco and beat the crap out of it. Ford, listen here, all right?
My security
think-
lights on. How can I get through Pat's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
Take
they'll
it
do
through-
that because they do the Bronco off rodeo.
Well,
Here.
then, it's like Vegas, isn't it?
It's
They've done
Utah.
it.
Nevada. Utah?
They've done it in a bunch of places.
Moab or something.
They have Texas, Tennessee, Moab, Vegas.
So what is cool is, yeah, I know the G4 Challenge came after, but you could go to Land Rover and you could buy a G4 spec Land Rover LR3, and it was orange, and it had came with a winch, I think, and all the guards and roof rack and everything. Pretty cool. But all right, well, on to what y'all came here to listen for, and that is Spencer's inflated 2 cents. So, what's Spencer? What's the nickel of the day?
That's a lot of hype for this
You gotta-
segment here.
you got to give the people what they want, and they don't listen. The only reason people are listening to this is to get that inflated 2 cents. Okay.
I messed up pretty good last time, but to uh, to try and get back what I was saying last time, I kind of stumbled pretty bad on last episode. The Linda's saying is be nice, play fair, and share. Is what her words to live by was, and I don't know why for the life of me I just kind of blinked. But today we're gonna go. We're kind of on theme as far as for what we talked about earlier today. But it's not I promise I'm a happy-go-lucky guy most times, but this is kind of a little bit more of a is say a real world kind of deal where we talked about how the pilots for on that flight end up um, perishing. We're doing something that they love, and lately the life's theme for me is talking to a lot of farmers around the area where they say, "Man, I wish I built that my storage shed a little bit bigger." Anybody that's building a building or a house or whatever, there's the excuse is always, "Yeah, it's nice, but I wish I had more space." And we're with our earlier discussion about, do we keep a GT350 or do we go and buy a Land Rover? That's my 2 cents here today, folks, is if it makes you happy, why don't we just go for it? Life is short as we know it, and it's not really worth living if you don't just live it. So that's my 2 cents today. Go out there, have fun, and make the most of your life.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. Life is too
So I'll
short
see
to drive
Brandon in
boring
about
cars.
2 weeks to go pick up that Defender.
I won't be able to drive it in 2 weeks because it's a manual, and I will not be able to drive anything with a manual for the next
Okay, well, I guess I'll have
month
to
and
drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, darn.
What
You
a
can sit in the
shame.
passenger seat.
What a shame. Shucks. No, yeah. Spencer, I don't know if I told you, but I am having knee surgery next week.
Oh, what are you getting
Actually,
titanium?
just a couple days. No, I have a torn meniscus, so
Shit.
I will be out of commission for a little bit.
From previous injuries, or did you kick too much ass?
Honestly, it might have been, I don't know, it might have happened all the way back in high school. Hard to
Back
say.
in Nam.
Back in Nam. But, folks, that's another thing. If you have injuries, get them fixed sooner rather than later.
I can abide by that.
Take care of yourself.
ER's not fun.
All right. Well, everyone didn't need to know my medical history, but there we go. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, moms, thanks for listening. Anyways,
Hi, Mom.
we are
Ma.
on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you get a podcast. If you want to see some video, there's a couple platforms that you can see the video of it. We just having a good time out here, and we appreciate you listening. Give us a shout out in the comment. Tell us how wrong we are, and have yourselves a wonderful day. Like and subscribe, and adios.
Adios, amigos.